Hi, everybody. I can't quite hear the program, but I hope it's okay for me to start talking. Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and I am honored and happy to be with you today for the 27th annual Bread and Roses Community Celebration. Wow. 2020 marks 40 bold years of the Fund for Santa Barbara's work, and I know you're going to agree when I say that the work has never been more necessary. So stay strong and stay safe and stay hopeful. I'm also so honored today to be presenting this year's Fund for Santa Barbara Nancy Alexander Founders Award posthumously to my just fantastic friend, the amazing activist and organizer, Mickey Flacks. I got to know Mickey and Dick Flacks when I was married to Tom Hayden. The Flaxes and Tom had become friends around the time of the creation of Students for a Democratic Society, when Dick and Mickey lived in Chicago, I believe. And in the 70s, Tom and I started the Laurel Springs Children's Camp at the top of the San Marcos Pass. And sometimes we drive down to have dinner with Dick and Mickey and talk. Oh boy, deep thinkers on the left. Boy, did they have a lot to talk about. And I just learned so much being a fly on the wall. I'll always be grateful for that. Dick and Mickey, they settled in Santa Barbara in 1969. True to her values, Mickey quickly became engaged in the political and cultural ferment of the aftermath of the 60s, the Santa Barbara oil spill, and the explosion of growth in the 70s. During this time, Mickey helped found the first environmental election coalition in town, the Citizens Coalition, and thereafter was a mainstay in many of the election campaigns that transformed Santa Barbara's politics. She served on the boards of the Environmental Defense Center, yay, and Citizens Planning Association, and helped found Santa Barbara Community Action Network, SBCAN. A strong, smart political activist. Mickey also served on the Central Committee of the Santa Barbara Democratic Party and the board of the Santa Barbara Women's Political Committee. She served on the first County Affirmative Action Commission and as a board member and chair of the ACLU chapter. An inspiring figure in the Jewish community, Mickey served on the board of Hillel and the Jewish Federation, helping to found the Santa Barbara Jewish Secular Humanist Society. In recent decades, she devoted major energy to efforts to alleviate the housing crisis in that region, including chairing the County Housing Authority, while also playing an important leadership role in grassroots housing justice efforts by groups such as Santa Barbara for All and the Coastal Housing Coalition. While deeply frustrated by society's failure to treat housing as a basic human need and right rather than a commodity, Mickey never wavered in her commitment to activist work around these and other important social justice issues. Seeing her organizing and advocacy work as important steps in a broader long-term housing justice movement, close to her passing, Mickey shared her personal pride in the numerous affordable housing projects and innovative zoning policies she worked so hard to bring about. Any community that has a Mickey Flacks in it will be a good place to live, because she was a true movement leader who knew how to build coalitions. And she will always serve as an inspiration and role model for social change activists of all generations here in Santa Barbara and in Los Angeles. I think it's so appropriate that the Fund's Nancy Alexander Founders Award is being given to Mickey. Nancy Alexander, the founder of the Fund, is much like Mickey, a strong, progressive woman and community activist. 40 years ago, Nancy had the vision to create a progressive community foundation to support the movements for social, political, economic, and environmental justice here in Santa Barbara County. Earlier in the program, we were inspired by the presentation of the fund's Firebrand Award to two young activists, Shakir Ahmad and Talia Hamilton, two young Black Lives Matter high school student organizers who were part of a new generation of progressive social change agents in the same mold as our friend Mickey. You know, there was a time when I was way younger when I thought that creating social change was a sprint. And then with more experience, I found it to be more of a marathon. Change takes time. You have to pace yourself. Endurance and perseverance are critical. Now that I'm seriously old, I realize that social change is a relay. And that's what this event today shows. At one end, there's Mickey and all she stood for, and how the torch has been passed to this new generation of young activists, youth activists. And aren't we grateful that we have them here, ready, willing, and able to engage in loads of good trouble. Accepting this award today on Mickey's behalf is Mickey's loving husband and longtime deep co-conspirator, Dr. Dick Flacks. Please welcome Dick Flacks.
I know Mickey would be deeply touched, gratified, honored that Jane Fonda was able to be here to present to Mickey this recognition. And of course, speaking for the Flacks family as a whole, we're also profoundly touched and honored by that and by the fund's recognition of Mickey's life and work. When she was about 8 or 9 years old, she remembers the fact that her mother had organized a tenants union in her apartment building, 54 families, and Mickey was assigned by her mother to go to door and shout out, "Important message from the tenants union." And when they opened the door, she'd ask them for their dues, which probably was like a quarter or 50 cents a month. She thought this was rather arduous as a burden for herself as a child, and yet it deeply imprinted in her a sense of duty, a sense of commitment to social justice. And to a very great extent, her life's work and life's experience was organized around that kind of perspective, that kind of goal, that kind of meaning. And it's fitting to remember that her concern about justice started with and often centered around housing-related issues. For the past few years, Mickey's been one of the leading advocates in this region for housing affordability, for a decent place for everyone to live in this coastal area, for tenants' rights and empowerment. These were things she was deeply concerned with and in many ways pioneered for the rest of us, a concern for what she called social housing. We are pleased as a family to help the fund initiate an ongoing project called the Mickey Flacks Social Housing Fund, which we think of as a mechanism for creating a pool of resources for people who are going to be organizing in behalf of tenants, in behalf of co-op housing, which was one of her deep passions, for a place for all to live, a decent home for all of us, something we all need and in these times desperately long for. So thank you again, Fund and Jane.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Dick. In honor of Mickey, I'm also very pleased to announce that the fund has established a social housing fund to support housing justice efforts in the region. You'll be hearing more about this in the coming weeks, and I hope you will all contribute to this important effort. Thank you for all your support for the Fund for Santa Barbara and its social change work here along the Central Coast.